You cannot copy a super enhanced bodybuilder's training protocol because that's what's working for him in his current stage in his physique development. If you're at level 5 of the game, why are you even looking at level 500 directly copying, think you're gonna go there when they add levels to the game, right? Different levels. What's up everyone, it's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Please follow my Instagram at Russo Lifts. Just in case something happens to this YouTube channel, you can follow, message, and you can watch my daily story content on Instagram. I'll see you there. What is up everyone, it's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. My voice cracked. Well, today's ASMR sip is 1907, New Zealand's finest water. Be sure to check it out at your local supermarket. Here's your ASMR sip. And here is your ASMR spritz. Check out Intelligent Elephant Carbon to smell like Derek's Death Star Delts. Remember guys, less dates, more food on your plates. The bloat lord said it first. No, I really didn't. I just saw a profile. I thought it was funny. Here's your ASMR spritz. Ooh, that's some quality ASMR there. Anyways, today I'm going to be talking about the difference in training when it comes to myofibrilar training versus sarcoplasmic training, featuring my favorite buddy, Dtren. Well, Dtren died a couple months ago, right? We know that video, aka Dawson. So we're gonna be featuring Dawson because I watched one of his videos on his training, which is sarcoplasmic training. So yeah, Dawson is all about Callum style training, Arnold style training, old school training, sculpting the muscle, blood volume training, fatigue training, aka scientifically speaking, sarcoplasmic training. Now I'm going to be doing the pros and cons of sarcoplasmic training, myofibrilar training, and how I did my training. So let's go into my path, right? So I have documented every single SARM cycle in video vlog format, documenting the results and side effects, as well as my natural training, as well as when I got into steroids. I remember when I was like 18, everyone used to make fun of my training online because I was doing myofibrilar training instead of sarcoplasmic training like Dawson suggested.
It's not how much weight you lift, it's how you lift the weight, okay? So if you can make the weight you're lifting feel harder, more challenging, lighter weight, feel harder, you'll return, get more gains, and you'll protect yourself from injuries. So a lot of times I'll be curling 35s, or I'll only be bench pressing 25s for reps, and people are like, why aren't you lifting heavier? You can lift heavier, you're 250, you lift heavy. It's not how much weight you lift, it's how you lift the weight. I make it harder on myself. I try not to cheat, I never bounce. Try to keep my form stable, try to keep the tension on the muscle. Your muscle's not gonna know what's the difference between a 110 and an 85 pounds, okay? But you make that 85 pounds harder, even though the 110's heavier, you do more reps, a solid form, control it better, you're gonna grow better. Form, tension, everything, making it harder, the reps, that's perfecting your craft, and that's how I built my physique, while not having to put 405 on a fucking bench press. Who knows, maybe someday I will, but the point is that you don't need to. Lift smarter, not harder.
Dawson's right on the rounder muscle bellies. Why do you need to train heavy when you can achieve a great look, a great physique? He looks obviously good enhanced with sarcoplasmic training. Why even do myofibrilar training? So basically my thought process was, again, I was only on Austrian at the time, you know, I was half natty, so I wanted to focus on progressive overload, myofibrilar training. Myofibrilar training, and I'll have Andrew throw up the picture. You can see it increases the sarcoplasm around the myofibrils, whereas you can see myofibrilar training actually increases the total amount of myofibrils, aka the density of the muscles. So at the start, I had my Grandmaster scheme to when I get to 30-year-old Russo. I'm 25 now, just became a man around 24, late bloomer here. But I already planned it all out like a diabolical nerd when I was like 15. So I wanted to do as much myofibrilar training as I could to build up the highest volume of myofibrils for when I switch into sarcoplasmic training later in my career. So I stuck between between the 4 to 8 rep range, progressive overload, built the strength base, lifted super heavy. So as I built up my strength base, my progressive overload, aka as I got my sets higher and higher as far as weight with the 4 to 8 rep range, that allowed me to use even heavier weights in sarcoplasmic training, thus getting the best of both worlds, but not opting out and coining for the easy way out too fast, because muscle density, in my opinion, is the best looking muscle. I'll have Andrew throw up Akeem Williams training. He's known to train super heavy in the off season, and I'll show Akeem Williams as far as his stage picks, which gives him this crazy, freaky, dense, hard looking muscle that when, you know, you're on stage and you're obviously looking towards the hard, dense, freaky looking muscle. Obviously the king of low volume, high intensity training to build up myofibrilar tissue to the most extreme degree, in my opinion, is Dorian Yates. I'll have Andrew throw up a little bit of Dorian Yates training style. That is building myofibrilar content. And then there's obviously Ronnie Coleman, who in my opinion did the perfect blend of sarcoplasmic training and myofibrilar training right here. Fucking freaky fullness from the extra sarcoplasm floating around with extreme density and myofibrilar content going on. Absolutely wild training style. Hence why he's the GOAT. And then I'll have Andrew throw up a video of Callum and Arnold training, which did sarcoplasmic training. Now, the whole thing I'm getting at is once you go off cycle, your myofibrils stay. The myofibril volume stays, the sarcoplasm goes away. The enhanced nitrogen and mineral retention in the extra sarcoplasm in the muscle goes away. That's why people, you know, noobs, NPC characters who look into the enhanced bodybuilding realm are like, oh, no, like once you go off gear, you deflate like a balloon. Wrong. Only if you do sarcoplasmic only training do you deflate like a balloon. If you have microfibrial content, sure, you'll regress and lose the water, the glycogen, the extra nitrogen retention, the sarcoplasm will go down. The myofibrial content will remain. So what I'm getting at is there's no easy ways out, right? When we look at Chris Bumstead and Chris Bumstead advice, he's saying in the off season, you know, the best muscle is when you're clanging and banging heavy weights. You're eating a lot of food. As you switch into prep, obviously you want to go towards the Dawson, the Callum, the Arnold training, the sarcoplasmic training. Volumize the amount of sarcoplasm in the muscle, expand the muscle, get the round, full muscle belly looks that they have. But in the off season, you build up your myofibrial content, so now you have the density that they don't have. So you need both styles of training, in my opinion, to, if you're an RPG character and you want to max out the look of your physique and you're enhanced, and you're willing to take the risk and go heavily enhanced, you must go down both sides of this road to get the best possible physique. Because you see people who rely on sarcoplasmic only training, not only do they deflate like crazy when they go off. I'll have Andrew throw up Callum on cycle at his peak versus Callum when he went off. That was his training style he chose to do. Obviously he had the craziest, freakiest, most aesthetic muscle bellies on that type of training style with the amount of drugs he was doing, but when he went off, he deflated. Whereas someone who had myofibrial content build up wouldn't have deflated that much if Callum did more strength-based stuff, which Callum did get pretty heavy. All I'm saying is if he did like powerlifting cycles, densified his tissues, built up more myofibrial content, he would have taken less steps backwards when he got off. But it's the training style. Now let's flip to the other side of the coin where you think, you know, Dawson, Arnold, Callum are all dumb for doing the fake muscle training and you only do myofibrial content. Then you look like a crappy powerlifter, all sucked in and dense. You never have volumized muscle. You look natty even when you're enhanced, and you never like fill out essentially as an enhanced bodybuilder. And I see a lot of guys do that. I see a lot of noble natties who stay natty forever. They stay natty forever. They finally cross the barrier to the enhanced realm and they do a significant cycle, but they continue training like an elite level, progressive overload, powerlifter, a little bit of hypertrophy at the end, bodybuilder with no blood volume training, and they wonder why they don't look like people like Callum, people like Arnold, people like Dawson. Why don't they look like that? Because they're not doing sarcoplasmic training. There's no extra sarcoplasm. You're not taking advantage of being on gear, getting the pump, pumping all that in, increasing the volume of the muscle, increasing the shape. So you need both styles of training. But the point at the end of this conclusion is that you cannot copy a super enhanced bodybuilder's training protocol because that's what's working for him in his current stage in his physique development. If you're at level 5 of the game, game, why are you even looking at level 500 directly copying, think you're gonna go there when they add levels to the game, right? Different levels. When you don't have no strength base, when you're not lifting heavy, when you're just going on drugs, building up the sarcoplasm and doing sarcoplasmic training and going to the beach, getting the pump, and you wonder why you can't progress further, it's because you're not doing the hard way. And when you're the noble natty who did all the density training, has the myofibrial content built up, but you never do endurance style training, you never go high reps, you never sculpt the muscle, you never chase an extreme pump and build up the sarcoplasmic volume, you can't get mad at the dude who has the full round muscle bellies for training hypertrophy correctly when you're that enhanced. There's two sides of this coin. You must use both. And I think the best example is Ronnie. I think myofibrial style, if you want to say the best example, is someone like Dorian with the myofibrial style, and then obviously with the sarcoplasmic style, it's someone like Arnold. I'm not saying they didn't get heavy. I'm saying the way they trained is the way the muscle density appears. Myofibrial is real. Sarcoplasmic is fake. They both cause visual looks. At the end of the day, all muscle really is water, glycogen, and myofibrial content and sarcoplasm, right? So we can't say fake muscle, real muscle. It depends on the variables of the cycle, the goal you're looking for, the actual look of the physique you want to achieve. But we cannot deny that progressive overload, increasing compound movements so you can do heavier sarcoplasmic training is the whole goal, right? Get stronger with the compounds, 4 to 7, 8 rep range, right? We're gonna do that. We're gonna increase strength. We're gonna build up the myofibrial content, which Andrew's throwing up the picture. And then instead of being sucked in and dense, as we approach contests, we're going to switch into sarcoplasmic training, volumize the muscle, sculpt the muscle, bring out the striations and density of the myofibrial content. And then you reap the benefits of the best of both worlds, because your sarcoplasmic training, you're now using heavier weights than just constantly doing that style of training and never progressing your true overall strength. That's just some food for thought of how I did it. When I started in the game, I did a ton of myofibrial training, powerlifting training. Everyone coming, Russo's like a powerlifter, he doesn't even bodybuild. I was building up the myofibrial content, the density, as much as I could when I was younger, when I was half natty on SARMs only. As I've slowly switched, and I've said this on YouTube, I switched into more training like a bodybuilder, the sarcoplasmic training, pump chasing, fucking using tons of blood volume training to volumize my muscle. I have the myofibrial content built up from training that strength density style for so long. That was so hard to accumulate all that myofibrial content, but now since I'm so strong, I can do hypertrophy with way heavier weights. I can get pumps with way heavier weights like sarcoplasmic pumps, and overall I have the density and the volume for the best that my epigenetics bless me with. Obviously, take this information, put it in your own genetic outliers, and you'll see that you achieve the best possible physique when you delve into both sides of this training and mix them at the correct times. I'll see you guys in my next one.